can drivers know, or people in the community know to kind of prepare for it as well?
Sure. I mean, because that black ice is just that, you can't really see it. So just be very cautious out there, especially in areas where, it's very tree lined and there's not been many cars on it. Those are always locations where you just, they're going to be problematic. And well, obviously we watch out for those spots. We know a lot of those trouble spots too, so we'll try to get there. But, like I said, with salt's effectiveness does really diminish below 10 degrees. So even with our best efforts, there still may be some spots out there that could be kind of tricky.
When it comes to those tricky spots, I mean, when, salt doesn't work anymore, what do people do?
That's a tough spot. One of the things that what we do is when we do put down that salt oftentimes won't melt because it is so cold. It will then create the granularity of the salt will at least give some traction, and that is something that does provide some assistance. And obviously we'll continue to apply that salt because enough of it will then create that melting process, but it is a challenge for us during those real cold temperatures.
Jim, what temperature point does the salt not be effective in melting?
It really starts getting very much ineffective below 15 degrees. It works, but it works really, really slow. Whereas, if it's 25 degrees and you apply salt, you can pretty much see it melt pretty much simultaneously. But if it's 15 degrees, it's going to really slow down that chemical process. Now, we do have one of the things that you mentioned. We do put calcium chloride on our salt when it gets really cold. That does allow for that salt or even brine solution to get a little bit, to drop that freezing point even lower than 15 degrees. So that is one of the other things we'll do this evening as well, depending on the temperature.
So that's your game plan because we're expecting some bitter cold weather on the back end of this. So.
Correct. Yeah. So what salt we put down at those temperatures would be mixed with a calcium chloride solution that then does drop that temperature effectiveness.
Do you guys feel like you're getting better and better at the snow response after all these recent snow events we've had the past year or so?
I think I would like to think so. I think we did make some process improvements. We had a really big snow last year, and we obviously took that as an event to try to learn from some of the things we didn't do as well as we should have. And I think we're being much better about being proactive. I think we had a lot of folks tell us that the streets that they live on are now getting pre-treated that they didn't. And that's because us looking for problematic spots. It may be a residential street like you had mentioned, but that residential street is steep and you're only one way in and one way out. So we want to get to that street because that is the only way those folks can get in and out. So I think just, some of the technology we have with GIS mapping has allowed us to be a little more proactive.
And with those recent storms, like she mentioned, going forward, how has it been for your crews? Obviously these guys are working so hard. How has it been for them, compared to other storms we've had in the past couple of months?
It's just not been fun for these guys, Everybody else, when it snows, it's a fun, enjoyable time for their families. Most of our guys, they don't ever get to see their kids play in the snow, and that's something that's kind of sad, and I hate that. But these guys come in without complaint and really just jump in there. And like I said, been at work since 4 this morning, and a good chance some of them may have to stay here tonight. And they just realize that's part of their job, and they want to do as best job as they can. So really give these guys the thanks because oftentimes I'll get the credit, but they're the ones out there actually doing the hard work every day for us.
And Jim, so with these guys working these long hours, and it's like they're here like when everybody else is asleep and they're out all hours of the night. How do you take care of them so that they don't get exhausted and,
for sure,
God forbid, have some kind of an injury?
For sure, and that's something we learned a little bit with these. Most of our snows are typically gone, within 12, 18 hours. So, but the last snow we had, we had folks here for a couple of days. So what we've actually done is, worked with the health department and some other agencies that have some space around here, bought some cots and things like that, so that when we do have to folks stay over, they can at least get some rest here. Certainly, we don't want those kind of events to occur, but when they do occur, we have made some accommodations for those guys to be able to at least rest a little more comfortably here, rather than sleeping in trucks and things like that. That when I first came here, that was pretty much commonplace, and these guys are already away from home. We want to try to make their stay as comfortable as we can. We obviously will buy them, lunches and dinners and things like that, and try to provide as much support as we can.
And for those people that might be on roads a little further out, with the refreeze coming in, what can they do if their roads aren't being pre-treated or, expected to be
For sure. If you see some snow or slush still on your roadway, let us know today. I mean, we'll be out all day with all our crews, and we can get in there with a snow plow and clip that off, and then put some salt on it, so that way that what is on the road now today won't refreeze tonight. So really just advise folks, we have a big roadway system. We have about 1,800 miles of road, and we have about total of about 30 trucks. So, there's going to be a lot of roads that we can't get to, but if there is a specific concern, let us know, and we will get there and get that location treated for you.
And I wanted to ask, I mean, we've been talking a little bit about potholes just because it is that time of year with the freeze. What is the concern there when it comes to the refreeze and then afterwards?
That is the remedy for a pothole, because asphalt pavement is a flexible material, and as it cracks, water gets in, it freezes and thaws, and it busts up that asphalt surface. And that was one of the things we did Monday. In addition to having crews out, applying brine, we actually have an asphalt patch crew. They worked all day, because if you look at our work order system, I mean, we have more pothole requests now than we do throughout the entire year. And you're exactly right. After this salt and all this that we're going to put on these roads, the next few days are going to be really rough for potholes, and that crew will be extremely busy. And feel free to call us and let us know, because oftentimes if we don't know with that large road network, we may not be able to identify that pothole. So we certainly encourage folks to let us know when they see something that may be an issue for them.
And what's the easiest way for them to let you know? Just call.
They can call 215-5800. That number has someone that answers 24/7. So even if you see that pothole in the middle of the night, give us a call. And matter of fact, we dispatched someone last night in the middle of the night to get a pothole, because we were concerned it might be a challenge for drivers in the morning.
Is there anything else that we might have missed that you might want to cover?
No, I just think really I appreciate you guys highlighting the guys' time. I mean, these guys, they never get to play with their kids in the snow. They do good work. It's kind of unrecognized oftentimes, and just really want to, give those guys a lot of credit, because they do really good work, and really in less than ideal conditions, because when everybody else don't want to get out because they're, concerned for their safety, these are the guys that are out there every day. So just really like to reiterate that.
Are we good? Everybody good?
Good to go. Thank you all.